Hello, my name is Adam Winrich, and as you can see, it's getting kind of dark out. That means it's a good time for some fire whip cracking. I'd like to thank my Patreon sponsor, Cat Fimple, I think I said that correctly, for sponsoring this video and suggesting it. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate some basic moves with two whips that I find are really good for double fire whip cracking. I'm going to talk about some basic slow and fast figure eight stuff, some Queensland crossover moves, and then some really cool poi moves, or actually basic poi moves, that are really good at applying to double fire whip cracking. And then I'll light these guys on fire. So first, let me show you some basic figure eight stuff with two whips. Hopefully this shows up in the light. All right, so the basic thing with two whips, you're gonna wanna learn all the timings of the slow figure eight. Cracking here and there. So you learn your together time, staggered, and most importantly, balance. I do that one all the time. And another move I like to mix in there to get some movement in with the whips is a move that basically just uses the cattleman's crack, but it crosses my body so that way I can pivot with the whip. Looks like this. That's a great one for double fire whips. As I know, if you've been watching videos where people crack, say, a good set of nylon stock whips or a good set of performance hybrid whips, you can do a lot of fancy stuff. But bull whips to me are basically just crude bull whips, or fire whips are crude bull whips. So there's really not much you can do with them. I find it's better for me to play it safe and try to do more basic cracking routines. And finally, the last fast figure eight one is called Mindbender, where you're going to do a slow figure eight in one hand, and in between those two cracks, you do a fast figure eight in the other. So real slow, it looks like this. Bang, bang, bang. And then you switch sides. And here's what all that looks like with the whips on fire. Now, if you've gotten the hang of the Queensland crossover, there's a bunch of different variations of the Queensland crossover that look really good with fire whips. And I'd say probably the basic one that you can do a lot with is the switching hands Queensland crossover. So you just do two cracks, or there, one, two, and then there's an extra swing. So what this allows you to do is spin from side to side, swing it a little bit extra. You can do a pirouette, even face one side, and the other side. So the Queensland crossover is a great source of moves to inspire your two-handed fire whip routine. And finally, I'll talk about some basic poi moves that look really good with fire whips. If you want to learn any of these, you can probably just do a search on YouTube, and there's tutorials for all of them. The basic one in whip cracking parlance is called the Florentine, and in poi parlance, I think it's called the 3-beat weave. Let's see, I'll do it to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, anyway, I'm not good at counting. So you can see sort of, just keep crossing them back and forth. And then you can do a reverse version of that, which is really good to learn. Learn the reverse 3-beat weave. And I should mention, when these are on fire, it's a good idea to do a profile shot, and that's when they look really good. And then finally, this last one I think is called the windmill, and I was inspired to learn it by Aaron Bonk. He came up with a move called, or I call, Bonk's windmill. So the basic windmill looks like this. See, what's cool about it is that everything happens sort of in the plane that's parallel with my body, and then you can change directions with a few basic cracks. And you can even, let's see, if I get back going the other way, you can do a windmill, do a turn, crack, crack, windmill, turn, crack, crack. And looks really good. Here, let me try to do Bonk's windmill. Bonk's windmill basically goes like this. You're gonna do 1, 2. More or less. Well, it's Aaron's move, not mine, so I haven't perfected it. But here's what some of those poi moves look like with the whips on fire. Thanks for watching the video. My name is Adam Winrich. Thanks again to Cat Fimple for being a Patreon sponsor and sponsoring this video. I'll put a link to my Patreon in the description in case you'd like to sponsor or suggest any other videos or subscribe to my Patreon. Also, I would like to mention, and I should have said this at the beginning of the video, if you are new to fire or haven't done any of it, I strongly recommend that you get in touch in person with a fire professional, a fire performance professional, to learn all the safety features that should go along with the proper usage of fire tools. I am kind of just a whip cracker who ended up doing fire whips, so I'm not really like the fire expert. If you want to do this safely, I strongly suggest you get some in-person classes with a fire professional. Again, my name is Adam Winrich. Thanks for watching. The mosquitoes will never get me as long as I got my fire whips.